Hey everyone, welcome back to Ruby Basics, but this time part 2. As you'll have seen if you were following the video series, we finished off with the part 1 wrap-up and code review, which included a piece of code that included all of the elements that we've been covering. What I want to do now is go on to part 2, which is looking at some more slightly esoteric elements of Ruby, but perhaps a little less obvious than the basics of arrays and if statements, etc. And the first thing I want to do is cover Ruby hashes. So let's open a command window and switch to IRB. So this is interactive Ruby that should have been part of your standard Ruby install. Now, when we finished off before, we had something like roles array, and we told Ruby it was an array by using the open square brackets. We had a couple of values in there, which was the developer and tester, wasn't it? Developer and tester. So that was two roles that we said were available in our imaginary little program for the company there. And that's fine. It's only a couple of values, a couple of items in the array, and we could probably manage that again in our script, but you can imagine there could be literally hundreds of roles in a company. The other one then was that we had a roles holder, I believe we called it. So roles holder, set up a new array, and that was Dave and Alan, I think we used. Let's use them again. Right, Dave and Alan, and of course there was a role salary, and that could be no need for quotes, it's an int 20,000, let's say. Role salary, okay, so we've got two role salaries, and let's leave it there. Using arrays then, if we have collections of data that we want to access and use it in some way, that's absolutely fine. We'll need to poll for where they are. You'll remember that we had things like this to pull back data at a particular index, 0 or 1 in this case. But the problem that we have here is that there must be some starting point to the data, some key data point off which all of the others hang. And for us in this example, it would be the employee themselves. So Dave, we need to know what's his role, what salary does he earn, how many sick days, how many holidays, what's his pension, what's his training, etc. So this is the key to all of our data. Everything else is just abstract data points. It's not referred anywhere. The way that we get around that in Ruby is using hashes. Hashes are key value pairs, and it's often referred to such as, you might have seen this on the internet, get this right around, like this. It's a key value pair. The key is fixed, and the value is this variable value that can get reassigned depending on what our needs are. Now, a hash is also referred to as an associative array, a map, or a dictionary. And like arrays, they're still variables storing variables, but the data isn't stored kind of in any order. We can push pop and shift unshift data on an array, and we'll never know where that particular data piece is in the array. We'll need to come up with some clever search to find whether the array, it's pretty straightforward, but whether the array contains that piece of data, and if so, to pull it out. But we'll always need to know the index. With a hash, we've got the key. And let's go into setting up a new hash. So we can have roles hash equals hash dot new, and that sets us up an empty hash called roles hash. Alright, straightforward enough. But obviously we'd like to add some data to that, so we can do that too. We just go roles hash. We'll define the key, which above we said was David, and then we'll assign that a value of, let's say, hang on, David was the developer, wasn't he? Let's stick with that, of developer. So we got our key. The key is David, and the value is developer, and there we go. And likewise, we could just add in Alan, who is a tester. And if we put our roles hash, we'll see we've got two key value pairs as we'd expect. If we wanted to delete one of these items from the hash, that's pretty straightforward too. So we could just call roles hash as you'd expect, and what we do is call the delete method on it, and then we state who it is, or the key David, even the key that we want to get rid of, and there it goes. And if we put roles hash, that's been deleted. Now when you set up a hash, there are another couple of things that we can do. One is to say, let's do salary hash equals a hash. We always need to just make that clear, and we can put the key and the value. So we can use that syntax that we saw coming up on the screen here to say 10,000. Okay, and then we'll do Alan and assign the value of say 20,000, and that gives us assignment of our known key value pairs when we set up the hash initially. We can also do another little trick of, what should we call this one, holiday hash excuse me, equals hash.new, as we saw before, but this time we say some default message like this. There we go. And so what happens there is, if we say, okay, so holiday hash, what do we got? Holiday hash. So let me just get, let me just put puts there, sorry. Puts holiday hash, and we'll say David, keep using him. So we want to know about David's holidays. There's no value assigned to David, and that tells us that we've not got that data in there. So this default value will stand. We can add items just as we did up here to the hash, and if we end up trying to search for one, we can have a return value, much better than just coming back with nils and nulls. So that's the basics of hashes, right? Ways to assign values to keys. You can use that key obviously across various hashes in the same way that you would set up lots of different data or groups of data in various arrays, and how to remove it, how to put a key, put a default message, and have a more rational data set. Alrighty, we'll leave that one there, have a little play, and I'll see you in the next video.